Welcome to Learner's Planet, my dear children. Children, we are going to study about the two most important things or the essential things in our life without which we won't be able to live. And these things are air and water. So in this session, we will discuss about the most important or the most essential thing for our life, that is air. So let us start with this session, children. Yes, first of all, we'll have to discuss the introduction about air and water. As you know that the two most important things without which we won't be able to live are air and water. Children, the air is all around us in our environment and we take it in when we breathe. Means we take it in our body every time, every second we breathe. And this air consists primarily of two main gases, the oxygen and nitrogen, in addition to small amounts of other gases, bacteria and viruses. So we always think that whenever we breathe, we take in oxygen. But this is not true, because the air does not contains or does not consist only oxygen. It also consists of nitrogen and other gases in small amounts, and also bacteria and viruses are present in air. So we take it in our body every time we breathe, right? So from this we can say that when we breathe in all these kind of gases, right, which air consists of. And so we have to say that clean air is essential to our health because it provides the necessary oxygen to sustain life. So clean air is very much important for our health, right? Always remember that we take in air, but oxygen is very important for our body, for our health, not the bacteria and viruses or other gases, right? We do not need other type of gases to survive or bacteria and viruses to survive. We need oxygen to survive, right? That is why clean air is very much important and very much essential to our health, because it will provide the necessary oxygen to survive, right? And remember that oxygen cannot be stored and only a limited reserve exists in our blood, right? Therefore, we say that a continuous supply of oxygen is necessary for our body to function, because only some amount or the limited amount exists in our blood. And that is why oxygen cannot be stored, and that is why we have to breathe in oxygen every second. We need oxygen every time we breathe, right? So this is about air. You will be amazed to know, children, that air is the atmosphere or the mixture of gases, right, surrounding the earth to a height of about 300 feet, which all people and land animals breathe, right? So air is very much important for us, and fresh and clean air is very much good for our health. So we must breathe in fresh air, right? In the same way, the second most important or the essential thing for our life is water. Water is important to us in many ways, like it is used for bathing, drinking, washing, cleaning, cooking, and also for watering the plants, right? So it is important in many ways. Now let us study about air in detail. In what way it is important and what is its composition. Yes, the air that surrounds us is a mixture of several gases. Several means many gases, right? As we discussed. But now let us see this pie chart of air composition. The blue one shows nitrogen. That means 78% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. Secondly, the red one, that is 21%. So 21% of oxygen is present in the atmosphere, and rest of the green color shows 1%. This is 78 plus 21 means 99%. So out of 100, 99% has been constituted by which gases? Nitrogen and oxygen, and rest, that means 1% is of other gases. Let us study about that in detail. Yes, air is colorless and tasteless, and it is made up of about 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, and 1% is composed of small quantities of other gases such as carbon dioxide, ozone, hydrogen, helium, etc. Right? So always remember that air is a mixture of gases which is surrounding the Earth's surface to a height of about 300 feet. It is invisible. We cannot see it, but we can feel the air, right? Whenever it is moving, right? So always remember that 78% of nitrogen is present, 21% oxygen, and rest 1% is carbon dioxide, ozone, hydrogen, helium, and other gases that do not burn up. Right? There is also water content in the air which varies up to 4%, especially in the tropical areas. Right? In very high region, in hilly regions. Right? There may be some other compounds like sulfur compounds which are present due to the pollution, due to industrial pollution. Right? So always remember this. It is the Earth's gravity that holds the layer of air around our planet. You must be thinking that there are so many layers of air, right? And how these layers are present over there, how these layers are present around our planet. It is due to the Earth's gravity that holds these layers of air, right? So let us study about all the gases or the major gases in detail. Yes, the first one is oxygen. Oxygen is a colorless, tasteless, gaseous element which forms 1/5 of the Earth's atmosphere. As we saw that 21% of the atmosphere constitutes oxygen gas, means 1/5 of the Earth's atmosphere, right? One oxygen molecule is made up of 2 atoms of oxygen. Always remember that the smallest ever particle is the atom, right? And when 2 atoms of oxygen combine, they form one big oxygen molecule. Means a molecule is made up of always more than one atom, right? So we took an example of oxygen over here. Oxygen is the most common element which is found on or in the earth, right? So it is one of the main elements, right? Oxygen makes about 1/5 of the atmosphere and it also makes up 9/10 of water. So these are some of the oxygen facts. Let us study more about oxygen. Yes, it is one of the main elements that make up air, and it is necessary for the survival of all the plants and animals, right? So it is one of the main elements for living organisms and also for humans like us, right? The symbol for oxygen given by some scientists is O, capital O. So oxygen is symbolized by this letter, right? So oxygen is an element with the chemical symbol O, and it is very reactive element that easily forms compounds, right? And Under certain standard temperature and pressure conditions, two oxygen atoms can form many other molecules, which is a colorless, tasteless and odorless gas. So in and out oxygen is very much important because we need oxygen to breathe in. It is essential to human life. It is found in the air we breathe and in the water we drink, also called as H2O, right? Oxygen makes up around 21% of the air we breathe, and it is also the most common element in the earth's crust and the third most common element in the universe, right? The large amount of oxygen on earth is supported by the oxygen cycle, which includes oxygen cycle means this cycle involves the movement of the oxygen between the air, living beings and the earth's crust. Even you will be amazed to know that photosynthesis plays a major role in this oxygen cycle. Do you remember photosynthesis, children? We studied photosynthesis, photo and synthesis. Photo means the light and synthesis means to combine together. This is the process in which food is formed by the green plants, right? So it is also playing a very major role or important role in oxygen cycle, because without carbon dioxide and water, it is impossible for the green plants to make or to prepare food for themselves. Even the sun's mass is made up of about 1% of oxygen, right? And even the name oxygen was first used by the scientists in 17th century, that is in 1777, right? Even you will be amazed to know that oxygen is very helpful in some treatment. Oxygen therapy is used as a common medical treatment. You might have seen patients on the TV or in the real life using an oxygen mask, right? Oxygen mask, the plastic tube that fits behind the ears and delivers oxygen through the nostrils, right? So it is also very much helpful in giving or delivering oxygen through the nostrils to the patient who needs oxygen. Oxygen has a number of other uses in water treatment and also in industrial treatment, in industrial uses. Even it is a very important thing. While a spark or a heat is still needed to start a fire, we need oxygen to give a spark or to give a heat to all such fuels, right? As well as being important for health and medical treatment, it also helps us to burn fuels, to treat water, and even it protects us from the UV light, the dangerous UV light, right? So this is all about oxygen, right? Oxygen is important to us in many ways, right? Now let us move on to another gas, the major constituent of the atmosphere, and that is nitrogen. Yes, nitrogen is the most abundant element in our planet's atmosphere, in our Earth's atmosphere, right? And approximately 78% of the atmosphere is comprised of nitrogen, as we saw in the pie chart, right? Nitrogen is used by the life forms to carry out many of the functions of life. Life forms means some of the organisms, right? This element, this nitrogen, is especially important to the plant life. Yet nitrogen in its gaseous form is almost entirely unusable to the life forms, so it has to be converted into usable forms for the life forms, right? So to convert it into a usable form for the life forms or for the organisms or for the plant life, we have to convert it, right? And how is it possible? Yes, nitrogen gas is relatively inert. It is considered to be inert gas. Why? Because that it is the most abundant element. It is approximately 78%. It comprises of the 78% of the atmosphere, right? But what is it? Actually, it is in the gaseous form, which is most entirely unusable. Why it is unusable? Because it is inert. Inert means it is in active form. It is non-reactive. It is not in a reactive form that we can use it directly. That is why it is considered as a relatively inert. But to make it in a usable form, to convert it into a usable form for the life forms, what is being done by the soil bacteria? Yes, here some of the bacteria, the useful bacteria, plays a very important role. The soil bacteria means the bacteria which is present in the soil can fix the nitrogen into a usable form that plants and animals can use to make amino acids and proteins, right? And the human beings cannot directly breathe in nitrogen, right? They cannot take in nitrogen directly. So what happens? That these bacteria will fix the nitrogen into a usable form for the plants and animals, right? And it will make amino acids and proteins. And as you know that if we will consume some animal source foods and the plant source foods, then what will happen? Yes, if we will consume plant and plant products and animal source foods, we will get nitrogen in the form of amino acids and proteins from these food, right? And we will be able to get nitrogen, right? So we cannot consume nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, whether it is present in the atmosphere as a major constituent, that is 78%, but it has to be converted into a usable form, that is to amino acids and proteins, which then we can consume it in the form of plant and plant products or the animal source foods, right? So we can obtain it from the food. So as we know that its presence in the air keeps this process of burning under control. Nitrogen is very much important. Nitrogen is very much helpful for the process of burning under control. So always remember that without nitrogen, even small fires would be uncontrollable. So this is the opposite case with the oxygen. Oxygen helps to keep the process of burning. Oxygen it does not keep the process of burning under control, right? The nitrogen is responsible to keep the process of burning under control, because oxygen is responsible to give a spark or a heat, right? And nitrogen is responsible to control this burning process, right? So nitrogen is available in the atmosphere, and it is helpful in these ways. So children, remember that nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, but as the plants and animals decay or they are burned, as well as through some natural calamities like volcanic eruptions and the decay of some non-organic matter will add the nitrogen to the atmosphere, and it is being constantly added to the atmosphere, right? So what will happen? Nitrogen is constantly added to the atmosphere because of the decay of plants and animals, and it is also constantly being removed or cleansed from the atmosphere. How? By the bacteria, right? A small amount of nitrogen is removed by living organisms, and even rain and snow also wash the nitrogen out of the atmosphere, right? So the amount of the nitrogen being added to the atmosphere and the amount of the nitrogen being removed from the atmosphere are perfectly balanced, right? That is why we say that these bacteria are also very much helpful for us and even rain and snow are also very much helpful to us in many ways, right? Because they keep this environment or the percentage of gas in the atmosphere in a very balanced state, right? As we saw right now, that nitrogen content being added and being removed are perfectly balanced by the living organisms or the bacteria, right? So such life forms are also very much important for us. We breathe oxygen, yet air is mostly nitrogen, right? We need nitrogen to live, but we consume it in the form of foods. So always remember that nitrogen is also a odorless, tasteless and a colorless gas. It is a non-metal, right? And nitrogen was sometimes referred to as burnt air, since air that no longer contains oxygen is almost all nitrogen. As you know that if there is no oxygen, that is even 21% of oxygen is not there in the atmosphere, then all the gas would be, almost all the gas would be nitrogen, right? And the other gases in the air are present in very less amount, right? So nitrogen compounds are mainly found in foods, fertilizers, poisons and explosives, and even our body is 3% of nitrogen by weight, right? It is very much essential for our body, but we need it in a very less amount, right? So this was all about nitrogen. Now let us move on to another category, that is other gases. Yes, 1% of the atmosphere is comprised of other gases. For example, argon. Argon is a colorless and odorless gas. It is used in making of light bulbs and fluorescent tubes. The light bulbs which are present at your home, right? And the water vapor, carbon dioxide, ozone, hydrogen and helium are also some of the other gases which are present in the air, which comprises of 1% of the atmosphere, right? And approximately 0.03% of carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere. And carbon dioxide, as you know, it is used by the green plants to make their own food, right? So these are some other gases which are comprising of the 1% of the atmosphere, right? So do you know something about helium gas? Yes, the helium balloons which we get at the parties and the carnivals float, because helium is a very lighter gas than the air surrounding it, and that is why it floats, right? And that is why we see at the parties most of them are the helium balloons, means the balloons which comprise of that, which consists of that helium gas, which is very lighter than the air, and that is why they float, right? And that is why they fly in the air, right? So these are some of the other gases which are present in the atmosphere, right? Now we studied about the air composition. Now let us discuss something about our beautiful atmosphere. Yes, air forms a layer around the earth, right? And this layer is called the Earth's atmosphere. So what can we say, that what is atmosphere? It is the layer, it is the air which forms the layer around the Earth, right? The first layer of the atmosphere is made up of the gases we breathe, right? What we discussed right now. And this layer is called a troposphere. So we can say that the troposphere is the layer that we live in, because it is made up of some of the gases that we breathe in. So this is the first layer of the atmosphere, right? The troposphere. Now the next layer of our atmosphere is called the stratosphere, right? So after troposphere comes stratosphere, and above the stratosphere lies mesosphere, followed by the thermosphere, and finally the exosphere. So exosphere is actually present at a very top place, that is the top layer, right? So this is the last layer, which is actually very high, right? So in order to better understand our atmosphere, scientists have divided this atmosphere into several layers, and these layers are actually divided on the basis of the characteristics of gases which are found at that height, right? So you can just imagine a layered cake. A layered cake is made out of the layers of different ingredients, like first layer might be the cake mix. On the top of that, a cook could put a layer of pudding. Then on top of that, perhaps they could put another layer of cake mix, followed by a layer of whipped cream, and so on. So each layer in our atmosphere is also referred to as a sphere, right? Always remember, atmosphere, right? So you can just remember these names by sphere. All are spheres. So first is the air which forms a layer around the earth atmosphere. The first layer of the atmosphere is tropo. Tropo means first. Troposphere, then stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and the topmost is the exosphere. Right? So in this way we can remember all the spheres of our earth. Right? Alright. So you can just imagine that on a quiet afternoon you can find a window where sunlight is shining through the glass down onto the floor, and lay down beneath the window and look up through the light. What do you see? Can you see the sunlight reflecting off of the particles in the air, particulates in the air? You should see dust particles as well as tiny particles present in the air. In addition to that, particulates which are visible to our eyes, there are many more particles present in the air, and they are too small to be seen with naked eyes, right? So these particulates are around us each and every day, though we usually do not think about them, and these all forms the spheres or the layers of our earth, right? So what is it actually? Why is it important to us? Let us see. Yes, atmosphere helps us in many ways, and some of these are that the atmosphere helps in maintaining the right temperature for the survival of living things on the earth. Even the clean air is very much important because it is what we need to survive, right? We do not need to breathe in polluted air. If we will breathe in polluted air, then we may fall sick. So clean air is very much important for us. We would have less medical problems and breathing diseases such as asthma, right? If we will breathe in clean air, right? So for improving our air supply, we need to improve our energy efficiency by reducing all such polluted gases. We should reduce the use of the vehicles, right? Then pollution will be less in the atmosphere, in the air, right? So we should reduce the transportation, that is, we should instead use public transportation rather going alone, rather using different vehicles for each person, for each member of the house, right? Rather we should walk or ride bicycles more, right? We should plant more trees and have more green areas and parks, which will help to improve the air quality. So atmosphere will be helpful to us in that way. Let us see in what other way can atmosphere be helpful. Yes, ozone. Ozone, which forms a layer in the stratosphere, that is after the troposphere, it protects us from the harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun, right? Because ozone is formed from oxygen that combines with 3 oxygen atoms together, right? So 3 oxygen atoms will combine together to form an oxygen, right? So we can say that ozone is a form of oxygen in which 3 atoms form one molecule. Yes. So ozone is made when sunlight acts on these hydrocarbon pollutants in the air, hydrogen plus carbon pollutants in the air, right? So there is actually bad ozone which is at the ground level, and there is a good one, or we can say a stratospheric ozone which is present in the stratosphere, right? So the stratosphere ozone, why it is good for us? Why it is considered as a good ozone? Because the stratospheric ozone shelters us from the ultraviolet or the UV rays, right? UV rays from the sun. And the bad ozone, why it is termed as the bad ozone which is present at the ground level? Because it is being carried upwards into the air and is attacking the good stratospheric ozone, means it will increase the UV rays of the sun. It will increase the harmfulness of the UV rays of the sun, and it cannot protect us, right? So this layer, this ozone is termed as the bad ozone. So while ground level ozone is an air pollutant, the ozone layer in the Earth's upper atmosphere, that is the stratospheric layer, provides protection from the UV rays, and that is why this atmosphere is helpful to us in this way, right? Let us see in what other way atmosphere is helpful to us. Yes, atmosphere also protects us from meteorites, which are the small rocks moving about in space, and meteoroids may cause harm if they hit the surface of the earth. So most of these meteorites burn in the atmosphere before they can reach the surface of the earth, and they burn because why they burn? Yes, they are actually in a very great speed, they travel with a very great speed towards the atmosphere of the earth, but before they can reach the surface of the earth, they burn, right? And that is why atmosphere is very much helpful to us, because they protect us from this meteorites. Because of the earth gravity, they burn, and because of this, atmosphere is very protective, right? So children, I hope that you are clear with the air composition and the atmosphere, and you enjoyed this session, and you enjoyed learning about air and atmosphere, right? So we will meet in the next session, and we will learn more about the air and the atmosphere. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying. Thank you, children.